Once you've laid down your basic timeline, you're ready to fine-tune your edit, and there's a couple of tools that I want to show you that can help you with that. They're the ripple edit and the roll edit. And let me just show you the problem, and then I'm going to show you how these tools can very easily fix them. Take a look and see if you can see what's wrong here.
Pizza, gluten-free pizza.
That's going to be awesome.
Gluten-free pizza.
That's going to be awesome.
So obviously, when I cut it together, I repeated the line in both the wide shot and the close-up, and I want to trim this down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and press the plus key to zoom in so you can really focus on it. And at first blush, you might want to just stretch this one over and stretch this one over, and then you're going to have to go ahead and delete that empty space. You can do this in a lot fewer steps. There's actually an edit called a ripple trim edit, and that's slightly different than the trim edit that we learned earlier. If I go over here and select the ripple edit tool, keyboard shortcut B, I get a slightly different icon. Instead of seeing that as a red arrow, I see it as a yellow arrow, and it works very differently. When it was a red arrow, and let me switch back to that, if I grabbed this and made it shorter, it just left a gap. But let me undo that, Command-Z or Control-Z, depending on your system. But if I switch to the ripple edit tool with the yellow icon, now as I drag the clip to the right and let go, not only does it trim it, it deletes the space. Now, I'm going to go ahead and undo and redo because it might have looked like nothing happened, but take a look at the end of the timeline. You'll see it gets shortened. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. And as I pull to the right, it removes that part of the clip. But if I did it the other way, again, it snaps the track closed. So this is a great way that I can remove that extra footage. Let me undo back to the state that it was in when we came to it.
It's going to be awesome.
Gluten-free pizza.
That's going to be awesome.
So that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to go over here and scroll down right on the A so I can actually see my audio waveforms. So let me go ahead and just cut it out of one of the two scenes, and I can then fine-tune that with the roll tool. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this to the right, and I want you to see what happens not only to the waveforms underneath, but see what appears in the program panel as I pull it to the right. I actually see the last frame of the first clip, and I see what I'm trimming off of the second clip. Now let me let go after that line is read, and let's listen.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes. So it's super, super easy.
So did you see how super, super easy that was to not only remove the line, but close the gap? Now, the other tool that's very useful is the roll tool. Now I'm going to hit the backslash key so you see the entire timeline, and I'm going to show you an example of a problem that we need to fix and how the roll tool can do it.
Vanessa Weisford, executive editor of Delay Gluten-Free magazine, and I'm so excited.
So it's obvious we cut to Vanessa's close-up camera before she even turns to look at me, which she'll do in about a moment.
Excited to welcome you to our test kitchen.
So I really should have made the cut at this point. I could have used the trim tool, and I'll get back to that with the V key by just grabbing that over and then finding this and pulling that over. And it's 2 steps, and it takes a little bit longer. Let me undo that. What I want to do is switch to the rolling edit tool, keyboard shortcut N, and now I'm simply going to click on the edit point, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it more closely. If I click on the edit point, it highlights the video and the audio, and I just literally move the out point of the first clip and the in point of the second clip. And if you notice in the upper right-hand window, as I do this, I actually can see the last frame, so I know exactly when she's going to turn her head. I'll let go of my mouse, the edit is done, and let's take a look at playback.
Welcome you to our test kitchen. My friend Ave is here today.
And as you see, the roll edit tool is a very elegant way that we can make that edit work. Now, earlier on in this video, we fixed redundancy. We fixed the fact that I repeated a line. I'm going to use the up arrow to jump back right to that edit point and show you how the roll tool can make this cut even better.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
So instead of cutting right on the moment that I stop talking and she starts talking, it'd be much smoother if we actually cut in the middle of a line where there is some action. So I'm waving my hands here and her eyes are closed. Don't think that'll work, but I bet if I cut when her hands are coming up, it'll be a little better. So now using the roll tool, I can take that edit, move it over to the right, and see how much more transparent the cut is.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes, so it's super, super easy. I'm not one of those people.
So as you see, it is a lot smoother. Now I'm going to do one more trick here before we finish, and that there was a little bit of an audio hiccup as we cut from one clip to the other. We learned in an earlier video that if I wanted to unlink these clips temporarily, I could hold down the Option key. And by holding down the Option key, I can now move that edit over to the right when our hands are moving, but leave the audio cut where it was.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes, so it's super, super easy. I'm not one of those.
So the audio was smooth, the video was smooth, and we successfully achieved that with both the Ripple tool and the Roll tool.